Why are we doing what we're doing, and what do we want women to know? We see you, sis. Welcome back. We are here with the Today's Woman Show, and we have had a great afternoon discussing everything from sex, parenting, and how to be an authentic sister. This next one I might be a little afraid to kind of broach into. Are we drinking too much? Amanda, you might tell some of us yes, although we're saying no.
Yeah, we are in a bourbon town here. This is going to be fun.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. But I mean, the reality of it is, you know, some people are doing like a New Year's Eve resolution every month. I'm not going to drink so much. I'm going to do this. But some people are really drinking because they're having a good time. How do you balance having a good time without overindulging?
It's a really good question. I think it's so individualized too, right? That people need to probably just be mindful about what their usage is. How are you using alcohol? What role is it playing in your life? You know, if you find yourself drinking to have a good time, but it's like every single night, you know, you might start to kind of question a little bit. What role is this playing in my life? Or is it possible for me to have a good time without having a few drinks or 10 drinks or whatever it requires for you?
Might be the magic number for some.
Quite a bit. Yeah.
It's been a tough year, right? Not just 2021, but also 2020. People were at home. They were on quarantine. Some people were at home just because they were afraid the country was in a dumpster fire, right? And so there were a lot of people, adults, that turned to the booze. What are some of the things that you've seen with, you know, you had the pandemic, you had racial tension, and just recently there was a warning that came out saying that there's mental health on the rise in youth. What are some of the things that you're seeing with adults as it relates to just drinking and mental health overall?
Yeah, I think, well, all the things you're talking about are just stressors, right? And a lot of people turn to some form of coping mechanism when they are under stress. And while we therapists love to say, you know, like breathe, meditate, take walks, etc., a lot of times I think people, especially when they're under extreme stress, are like, that's not enough. That's not giving me that quick fix. And having a drink might actually give you that quick fix. So that gets started, you know, Monday night drink before bed, and then next thing you know, more and more and more. And again, you kind of have to check in with yourself, see why you're drinking. What are your outlets? Think about your other outlets. How do you cope with stress? Especially when you are stuck in a home with your children or your spouse or your roommate or whoever, trying to manage all those relationships.
Well, I'll tell you, many people have said that they have definitely been drinking a whole lot more since the pandemic. How are you helping them to break new habits?
So one thing is just really, again, helping people get to the root. What is the reason you're drinking, right? Is it, I have a cocktail every now and then when I go out with friends, okay, you know, or is it, I drink because I come home and I'm very stressed and I need to let go, otherwise I'm going to be yelling at my kids for the rest of the night, right? So really kind of getting down in there to understand what is the purpose, what is it doing for you? And you'd be surprised how many people are sort of oblivious to their root of why they might be drinking, because it's easy, it's just something you kind of can start doing, right? So you don't always think about the root, what's underneath there that's driving that.
So are you saying that if I'm drinking and I'm happy that it's okay?
I feel like I have to be very cautious about how we talk about it, yeah. But I do think there's also a big piece that in our community, we talk about alcohol in a way that maybe does a disservice to people, right? Because it's, you know, people will say, well, I'm not an alcoholic, so it's not a problem. But the thing is, you know, you can have habits and behaviors that are creating problems in your life. They're just not maybe destroying your life. Maybe they're increasing your anxiety or depression, or they're not helping you long-term deal with the stress, right? So you can start to find the root and then make slight changes, like find your people. Who are your people who are gonna help you? You know, if you go out drinking with your friends, and they're all drinking.
My people like to drink.
Yeah, and
right?
they're all drinking, and you say, I don't want to drink tonight. Are they going to support you?
Well, I think the bigger question, and maybe it's even the elephant in the room, and some people don't want to hear this, but using the word alcoholic is a bit taboo. But as a professional, when would you say a person is borderline alcoholic?
We would definitely look at how much they're using, how much alcohol, what is the sort of addiction, right? What does the addiction look like? And again, it kind of varies person to person, right? But, and as you said, it's a word that's kind of taboo. It's not really a phrase we use. We would say somebody's abusing alcohol, put it more on a spectrum versus black and white thinking, right? But really looking at how does this show up in different areas of your life? How is your life impacted? And there are people who can drink and drink and drink and be very successful, and that can be tricky to kind of uncover sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what, there are certain people that don't want to ever admit that they might be borderline alcoholics. And then I think there are some people that are just trying to manage it on their own. As we go to break, share with us when you should stop trying to tough it out and seek professional help.
I would say if you feel any point that you're kind of questioning, you're thinking, or you notice, you go to grab that bottle of wine because you're going, oh, I've had such a stressful day, right? You might think to yourself, what is my relationship with alcohol? And just start to explore it, talk about it. Say, awesome. That's why I brought you a Talk About It sticker.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Fantastic. Well, Amanda Villaveces, everyone, it was a pleasure. You want to know how you're doing, whether you're drinking too much, be sure to pick up the monthly issue of Today's Woman magazine and find her column. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.